Well, hello everyone. Thank you all so much for joining today's call. As you may know, last week Thursday we released SalamanderLive version 68. So this was another huge release. We had over 170 tickets, which included a mix of bug fixes as well as some neat new features that we think you're going to appreciate and love. I know that some of these features are some that you have put in requests for, so hopefully we do it justice. As always, during today's walkthrough, please feel free to ask questions. You can also use the chat function to send me a message as well. All right, so here's just a quick look at the training schedule for the v68 release. So after today, there is one more training opportunity on Tuesday, August 2nd at 10 a.m. Central. So if there are others in your team that couldn't make it today but could benefit from the information, please have them join me next week. Now, depending on the attendance rate for today's training as well as next week's, I may open up a few more training opportunities in August. I just want to make sure that we're giving you every opportunity to learn about the new features available within SalamanderLive. So as I mentioned earlier, we have over 170 tickets. And if I go through them all, we would be here all day, which I know you guys don't have all the time, and I don't either. So I'm going to strictly focus on the new features and any major enhancements that would or could impact how you use SalamanderLive today. So there are 6 areas in which I'm going to touch on. The first is on the new communication features that's available. Second is the new fields of information that can be captured on the person and equipment record. And then we're going to be going over some plan updates for those that have the plans feature. And we'll take a look at the new event dashboard enhancement. So for this round we're offering a new package called Events Pro, which is going to provide you some additional functionalities within the chart and roster tile. And then we'll take a look at the enhancements made to the Arcgis map as well as map tile, especially for those that have the interface, you're subscribed to the interface with Arcgis as well as with GIS mapping with your track and tag apps. So first I want to talk about is the new email communication. So if you logged into SalamanderLive since the release, you may have seen a new recent communications tile. This tile, what it does is it's going to provide you a list of recent types of communications that were sent to people from various areas within SalamanderLive. So within the tile itself, and I'll show you in SalamanderLive, but you can actually click on this on any single one of these line items and it will open up a preview of what was sent. So you can see here these are all the different types of communications that you would see within this recent communications tile. So a lot of these you guys are familiar with already. So a credential, as you know, you have the ability to email a credential out to people. That would pop up on here as those are sent out. If you have the plans feature, you know that there is an option for you to send the plan details to all the people that are planned for that event. That would also pop up in here. For those that have used the vaccine wizard, you know that there is an option to send a credential through that feature. And then below that, we've got 3 new additional email communications that were released with v68. So first one is the ability to email people. So this is emailing people. It's a short little message directly from the people list. And I'll show you exactly where that's located. The second email communication availability is the ability to email a request for deployable equipment. And this is done through the deployable equipment list. And last but not least is the ability to email participants who are active or off scene through the roster tile. So let me just pull up SalamanderLive so you can actually see this in action. So here's SalamanderLive. So you'll see here this is the new recent communications tile. So this is available to everybody that has access to SalamanderLive. As long as you're subscribed, you should be able to see this. Now, what you're going to have access to in regards to the types of communications that comes through are going to be dependent upon what other additional features you're subscribed to. Like, for example, you're not going to see any sort of plan resource email if you're not subscribed to the plans feature. But you can click on any single one of these, like for example, a people email, and it will give you a profile or a preview of exactly what was sent out to the individual. So show you their name, their email address, and then the message. The message was just test. Okay. So with those 3 different areas, let me show you where they are located. So the first one is that new people email. So this one right here. So that is all done through the people list. So go to the people list. So in here, you want to make sure that the people that you're looking at emailing has an email saved into their record. Obviously, the email can't be sent out if there is no email capability there. Note that we did add a secondary email field in here. So let me just pull up a record so you can actually see this. Let's take a look at Miss Ann Alexander. So under the profile right here, you'll see under location and contact, we added another one. This was an actual feature request and ask. So we've added a secondary email option on here. So if this was their work email and you wanted to capture their personal email, you have the option to do so now. Just note that all communications would go through the main primary email, so the one that's under email at the very top here. Okay, it will never send any sort of notifications to the secondary email. So I just want to make sure that I point that out. So going back to the main list, as you know, if you click on the checkbox next to any single one of these, I'm going to just do Josh Adams here. If you click this checkbox, again, you can send out an email notification to any single one of these individuals. You can send out to one, you can send out to multiple. But you'll notice that there is the icons that populate at the top there. So you'll see that there's some changes that were made to these icons as well. So first one is this email credential. This used to be this email icon, but we changed this now to a paper airplane. So this is now the email credential, and then the email icon is now the email people. So this is the other option that you'll see. When you click on that, you should get the send mail notification window that pops up on here. You can put a subject line on here. It tells you exactly what's the maximum characters for that. And then right here for the body, which has a maximum of 2,048 characters in here. And then at the very bottom of that, it'll tell you exactly who you're sending this message to, or and it could be a list of individuals that's getting the same message, or it could be that one individual. Now, if you select someone that does not have an email address, it's going to tell you that there's no email address attached to their record. So, for example, let me just go ahead and click on this individual as well, Ms. Kelly Anders, and we'll do that again. And you'll see that it'll tell you that there's no email in the profile. This person is not going to receive this email. Okay. So this is one area in which you can send email communications. The other is going to be under the equipment side. So this is going to be new. I know this has been an ask as well, is the ability to email people or the contact that's on that record requests to loan out a piece of equipment or borrow a piece of equipment. Okay. So this is going to be available on the deployable equipment side. Okay. So if you go to your deployable equipment list, as you know, this list is going to contain all equipment, all items that's been marked as deployable for the entire account. So regardless of what access or role you're set in here for permissions, if you have access to equipment and to the deployable list, you should be able to see everything from the entire account. So in here, if you are now able to select these items on here. So what happens if you select this checkbox, you will see the email icon that pops up on here. It's the same email icon that you saw on the other side, except if you hover over it, it should say Request Deployable Item. Now, a thing to note is that this email icon will only pop up if there is an email attached to that contact. So it's going to be contact email 1. So a great thing that you guys can do on here to kind of help you in figuring out which record has or does not have an email is to add that contact 1 email into your actual list. So just go to Edit Columns up here, go to Contact One Email, add it in there, sort your list, and then it's there. So you always can see that. Now you'll see in here if I select one that does not have an email, for example, I'm going to click this Air Compressor 1, that email icon does not populate up here. Okay, so that's just telling you that you can't email it because this person, there's no email attached to this record. So a lot of questions that could pop up is why would an email, especially when it comes to deployable equipments it's required to have a location as well as contact information. In this case, you could get people that don't have that contact information in there because of that multi-edit option. So in the multi-edit option, or if you do an import, you're able to multi-edit and mark multiple equipment items as deployable. In that case, it doesn't go in and require you to enter in the address information, because the address information could be, and contact information could be different for every single one of those pieces of equipment. So once you multi-edit equipment as deployable, you have to go back into each individual record and then enter in location and contact information. If it's the same for all the selected records, then just enter it all within that same form. So this is what I'm talking about right here. So if I select all these 3 items right here, on the equipment list, I apologize. On the equipment list, if I select a bunch of items on here, it's going to take you to that deployable list. So I'll just make sure that everybody understands what I'm talking about when I talk about multi-edit and deployable. So edit multiple at the very top there, you see this deployable option. If I click on that, it's not going to require me to enter location and contact information versus if you did this within the individual record. You see that? Because it's stating that this could be different for every single record, so it's not requiring this. But if it is the same for the selected records, then just enter that in right here. Okay, and then update it. And then now the information is going to pop up on there for contact information. Okay. All right, go back on here. The last area, so the last email communication is going to be on the event side. So you can say it's event email, so you know that's coming from the events dashboard. So on the event side, so let's go into the event dashboard. So let's just go to this one right here. So it's going to be on the event dashboard, and it's going to be in the roster tile. So it's going to be on the roster tile. So this kind of goes in with the new offer that we're offering called Events Pro, that kind of took place of the charts feature. So with the new Events Pro feature, it just gives you a bunch of more functionalities, and I'll talk about that in a little bit on a different slide so you can see all the different things that you'll get with that particular package. But this is one of those where you can actually go into the roster tile. I'm sure that you guys have been familiar with this and using the roster tile, that if you select an item, you'll be able to go in there and manually change someone's time, right? So that was one of the big purposes for the roster tile, was to be able to go in here and manage people's times. If they missed any sort of check-in times, or they forgot to go or get checked out from the event or an assignment, you have the ability to make that change. But you'll also notice when you click that checkbox next to a person's name, you also get this email event icon. So this is the other area. So this is emailing people that are active or not active within an event that's already been checked in. So you can click the email icon. It's the same, very similar send mail notification pop-up window that you saw on the people email side. So same thing, subject line, the body, same max characters, who this is going out to. Again, you can select multiple people as long as they have an email address on there. It'll tell you that it's going to send it out to those individuals. Okay, and then just click send. So all that, again, everything that you do within those emails, they'll be viewable on here. So again, everybody has access to that, so you can kind of see all the different types of email that's sent through on here. Okay, so a lot of this is plan resource, credentials, and things like that. Okay. Any questions on the new email communications Okay, if there's none, we're going to keep moving on. All right, so next what I want to talk about is some of the changes that we made to the person and equipment records. So on the person record, there was 2 changes that we made. So under here, under the Profile tab, we actually added an option for you to mark a person as deployable. So very similar to what you would see on the equipment side, this is now available on the people side. Note that if you log in and you go into the collections, you'll see that deployable is also available on the collection side. Okay, so all 3 different types of resources are now you're able to mark as deployable. The other area that you can see on here under the profile side is the ability to add an association to that record. So there's actually a couple different options you can select from: reports to, teammate, parent, caregiver, spouse, partner, and sibling. Now some of these you'll see that that's kind of related to a more like a civilian type account, which as you guys may or may not know, we do offer a civilian type account where you are able to enter in civilian information into that separate database that would be separate upon your responder employee type database. And that's what those options will give you on there. But regardless of what type of account you have, you'll have access to all the options. So let me show you where you guys can set that up. So under here, go to People, and we'll go to Miss Ann Alexander's account again. So go into their profile, click the pencil icon, the edit pencil icon at the very top there, take you to their profile. So you'll see here there's the deployable icon. You can mark it as such if the person is deployable. And then you'll see if you scroll all the way down to the bottom is the Add Association field. So simply just click on that. It's going to pull down 2 options for you. So right here is, if you select this, you have to type in the relationship type. So what is the relationship? So you'll see in here all the different options. So if she reports to somebody, you can put who she reports to. So in this case right here, you're searching for existing resources, so existing people. So you start typing in here, let's say I just type in Lee, it should find anybody that has Lee in their name. You see this? So if you want to be more specific, you can type in a last name, ID number. You can also type in their organization. So let's say that she reports to Lee Austin. Okay, I can create that association. Now it says that that she reports to Lee Austin. You can add another association if you wanted to in here, if you want to put like who her partner is, who her supervisor is. So you have all these different options to do so. You can select as many as you need to on here. So for partner on here, Francis, I can put in here reports to, there's her partner. So you have this information that you're able to do that. Okay. So again, you're just creating the links or the ties between your records. So this association is only available on personnel records. Click Save. Okay. And then on the equipment side, so now you'll see it's marked as deployable. On the equipment side, there is going to be 2 options as well. Before I move forward, I just want to let you guys know, just in case you're like, wait, why isn't the association popping up on the profile? So the association does not appear, it does not display on the profile itself, so it's only going to be contained within the actual profile backend record, so on the form itself. Okay, so it does not appear or display within the profile page. Okay. On the equipment side, you'll see that there's 2 changes. We've made the inventory status. We've increased the size to make it more visible. We also made the button bigger so that you can actually click in it. And then under the purchasing tab, we also added 2 new fields. So we've added purchase organization and invoice number. So the purchase organization, what this really does is just helps document who purchased the item from who has it in the case of a transfer of ownership. So this right here just gives you that information versus on the profiles, you know, where does that equipment belong to. So in this case, it's Anywhere Fire Department, but maybe Anywhere Fire Department did not purchase this. Maybe it was the county that purchased this. So you can put that purchasing organization information on here. Okay. So in Salamander Live, we'll just take a look at that so you can see where that's at. Just go on the equipment side. All right, so let's go in here. Let's take a look at this radio. So here's this radio. Once it pops up, you can click on the pencil icon. So pencil icon right there. You'll see in here the availables on here. So this was marked in as a consumable item. That's why you can't click the checkbox, but you see how nice and big that is. If it's been issued out or if it's missing out of service, the colors, obviously, you have the different colors to show those changes in there as well. So I'll just show you this one there. Someone's pencils. So you got a couple options on there. But underneath the purchasing is where you're going to find it. So you can click on the purchasing whenever my screen is done loading. Under the purchasing option is you're going to find those two new fields. So right here, purchasing. So you'll see right here, purchase organization and invoice number. So purchasing organization, so as you start typing, you're going to see that there's a drop down for who purchased it. And then invoice number is open text. Okay. Let's see, let's do something else. Okay. So just note that if you try to enter in, I just want to show you guys, if you try to enter an organization that does not exist within your database, it's not going to be able to save. So this purchase organization field works like any other organization field in that organization has to exist in the database. Okay. So you have to select one from the drop down before it will allow you to save. And there it is. Okay. Any questions on the updates done to the equipment record as well as personnel records? Okay. No questions. We're going to keep moving on. Next, what we're going to cover is plan updates. So this may not pertain to a lot of you, but for those that actually have the plans feature, this is going to really help you in utilizing your current plans, because I know a lot of these were asks and wants for plans. So on the plan side, new features. Finally, we have a copy plan feature. I know this has been an ask for ever since we released plans. So you are now able to copy your plan. It copies your entire chart structure, not any of your resources. The resources don't go over, but all of your assignments and your actual chart structure will be copied over. You also have the option to capture an image of your chart. So once you've completed your chart, you created it, you can actually capture that into and save it into a PNG file that can now be printed off and do what you need to. And then there's also the option to download the ICS form. So the ICS forms are available within the plan itself. And what it does is they are going to be editable PDF documents. So it's going to fill in some of the basic information like the event name and the date, the event number or run number. So that's what you're going to see on that. So I'll show you guys what that's going to look like. For updates, we've updated the map icon. So it used to be like a globe. For those that have worked with plans, it used to be globe. Now it's like a folded up map icon. So we changed that. And then assignment pin color change. So in there it used to be red, now it's green. There's a reason why we changed it to green, because that if you have the full chart functionalities with the Events Pro feature, you'll be able to add assignments on the GIS map. and those icons there are green. So we're trying to create that consistency between the pin colors between all of our maps. Minus, of course, if you have ArcGIS, the integration there, those pins are, as you know, are always going to be customizable within the ERSI site. We also changed the email tab on within plans to roster, because that's really what it is. It's a roster of all your people that are planned to work an event. And within that roster, you're able to send an email. And what we've done with the emails, we've also cleaned that up, so the email is actually a lot nicer. It's charted, it's easier to read, easier to see the information. Bug fixes that we did that I want to mention on here, especially for those who have worked with plans, you know the headaches that came with this was editing the plan name during the activation process. You can edit that now. It shouldn't cause you any issues there. And then creating a plan with no city no longer displays as a null result. So those are some of the fixes that we did with that. So let me go over to Salamander Live. Let me show you all these different changes that we've done. So again, if you are subscribed to the plans feature, you would see that on here. So let's just first take a look at the copy plan function. So in here, if you want to copy it, simply click on the checkbox. Let's say I'm going to do this dummy plan right here. Just click the checkbox. You'll see the copy function appears right next to that Start Now button. So there it is. Just copy, click the button, and automatically copies it. So now you'll see that it says dummy plans with the same name, which as you know, you can change. And then in parentheses, it'll tell you that this is the copy. So if we go into the copy itself, you'll know that everything is the same. The timing, the scheduling in there is the same, except what's not included is the individuals that are and the resources that were added to that original plan. So chart structure, scheduling, all that stuff pops up on here. Okay. So if you need to change the plan name, as you know in the past you weren't able to edit the plan name at all, now you can. So there's the edit function, and you can change the name to whatever you want it to. So if this was if you were doing one for operational period 1, operational period 2, you have the opportunity now to do that. So if this was like operational 2, so op 2 for this one, you can change the address information in here just like how you did before, and click Save. See that? Next to the edit button is the download Ics form. So this is where you can click on that, and it's going to pull up all the different Ics forms, and these are all going to be PDF documents that you can edit right through Adobe PDF. Okay, so no more of that the pen and paper type. You can basically just type in the information. So again, it just pulls up some of the basic information that's from the event itself. It's not going to fill all the information. If you had resources, assignments, all that stuff, it's not going to fill in everything. Okay. So whenever that pops up, it'll pop up on here as a PDF document. Okay. And then here's that map icon. I'll tell you about that change. This used to be that globe. Now it's a folded up map. And then the pin color changes. You see they're green versus red. So this still works the same as it always has. If you click on it, it'll tell you the address location as well as latitude and longitude. So all that is still exactly the same. Nothing has changed on that except for the pin colors. And then last but not least is the roster tile. The roster for plans. So if there's people that were added in here, again, this is a copied plan, so you're not going to see anybody in here. So let me go back to a plan that actually has people. Let me go back to the original one. So this is what you would see. So here's the roster of everybody that's planned for that event. Okay. If you're looking at emailing, so this is something we've changed as well too. So if you remember, if you clicked on, there used to be that email icon that would pop up on here, and you can choose to select all, or you can select the individuals that you want to email out to. Now you're not going to see that email icon until you actually select people. So you can still select all by clicking the very first checkbox in the very first column, which would be a select all option anyways. And then just click on that send email function. It's just going to send to whoever you've checked with their name on. So same information that populates on here. What we've changed on here is going to be the form itself. So let me pull up that form for you. I'm sure that I've someone here that, here, this one right here, that I know has an email that exists. So I'm just put test, save and send. So all this information is still the same. You can see here email status, email sent, all that's still the same. In my email, I should receive the email for the plan itself. And then here's, you're going to see that the form has been updated, so it's a lot more it's more readable. So you see in here, it's kind of in a nice chart, kind of highlights in gray, so you see the different areas. Before it was kind of just, you know, thrown up on there, so it wasn't as organized. And we removed the assignment location, the assignment barcode. Really wasn't needed through the Track app, because as you know, you scan this barcode into the Track app, it automatically knows that this person is assigned to the incident commander assignment. So it automatically puts that person in there. So that assignment barcode wasn't needed at all. So we got rid of that, made this nice and clean, easier to read. Okay. Questions on plans and updates to the plans feature? Okay. If there's no questions, that we'll continue on. All right, so here is the big one. This is the event dashboard enhancements. So these enhancements were made with the new Events Pro offer. So the Events Pro offer is going to provide you some additional chart functionality. So you'll see here on the chart tile, there's a bunch of things that you can do here now. So a lot of the things that you were kind of restricted in doing within just the Track app and Command, as well as even the Rapid Tag solution, you now can do within SalamanderLive within the chart tile. So you are now able to add assignments. You can add and edit assignment locations, and those assignment locations will now pin onto the map tile within SalamanderLive. Of course, if you have the ERSI integration as well, they would map within that solution, that map. You can also check in plan resources. So before, the Track app was the only app solution that supported checking in plan resources. Now you can do it through SalamanderLive. Just note that it doesn't necessarily allow you to go through the full check-in workflow, which the check-in workflow, as you know, that includes being able to look at the scheduling of individuals. So if scheduling is important, you want to know who's late and you want to change in times, you still want to use the Track app for that purpose. But at least now you can check in and activate those that are planned. You can go in there for any resource that's been added or checked in. You can move them from assignment to assignment. You also have the capability to add resources to an assignment through the chart tile, as well as capture a chart image. So you can see on there's a chart function. There's an add function is there as well within the chart tile. Okay. I didn't talk about roster tile because I already showed you guys that earlier, but the roster tile, that's where you have the ability to send email now to people. Okay, so the big change here is going to be this chart tile. Lots of new things, great things that comes with this. So a lot of the asks that you guys have been requesting for a while now, being able to do all the similar functionalities within Track and Command, to be able to do that within SalamanderLive. And then with the Events Pro offer, you have the resource timer as well, the timer tile. So this was always a part of just a basic SalamanderLive subscription, but this has been moved to this package. So as long as you have the Events Pro or Plans feature, you'll get all of this, all of these features. Okay. So even if you're on a basic SalamanderLive package, you still will be able to see a roster tile. You'll still be able to see the chart tile, except that you're not going to be able to do those additional functionalities. Okay. So let me just pull up Salamander Live here so you can see how this all works. So on the event side, I'm going to go to my game day. So here's the chart tile. So in the chart tile, you'll see on here the new functionality. So there's a capture image option. And I forgot to show you guys this too. On the plan side, you also have the ability to capture a chart image. So on your actual plan chart, you'll see there's the same camera option. So I apologize if I forgot to show you guys that. If anybody wants to see that, let me know. I'll go back and I'll show you that. But here it is. Just simply click on that button. It'll actually immediately capture the image. Saves it as a PNG file. Here it is, and then you can do what you need to with that with that image. Okay, so it captures at the moment when you click that icon. So in here, the add button, you're able to add in new assignments. If you click the plus button, you're able to add in assignments. So it tells you right here you can either enter an assignment name and select it from the list. So this is pulling from your existing assignments database. So whatever you've created already so far and what you have access to, that's what's going to populate in here. Or, as you know, you can create a brand new assignment by entering that in, and then there's a green check mark that pops up on here. Okay. So if I was going to do, let's see here, I'm going to do a black lot. Okay, so black lot, there's nothing there. I can click the checkbox, it adds it. So if you have plans, this process right here seems very similar. But if you don't, let me just go through what's happening here. So this is kind of creating what's called a chart or a cart. So what you're doing is you're adding all the assignments in here, adds into the selected section. Okay, and you have the ability to remove it if you need to. So if you want to remove one, you can actually remove it if you say, oh, that's not one I wanted to add on here. So it kind of just gives you a summary before you add it in. As you know, once you add an assignment to an active event, you can't delete it anymore. So this is kind of your time to go in here and delete it if you don't want to add that in. Okay, so black lot on here, if I type in, let me do planning. So you see in here, I typed in P, there's a whole bunch of stuff that pops up in here. So let's say parking security structure 1. I can select that, it adds it to there, right? Okay. Once I'm done on here, I can basically click save, and it's going to add those 2 assignments on here. See that? And I can drag and drop them and throw them into my chart structure. You see that? So this creation of that chart is also what you get with the full chart feature if you have Events Pro. If you don't have it, as you know, everything just kind of lists, all your assignments list in alphabetical order. If you try to drag and drop it, it's not going to create that chart. So again, you have to have the Events Pro or plans in order to get this full chart functionality. Okay, I can throw this in here as well. So that's the adding of assignments. So once you add assignments, on here, there's a lot of things that you can do. As you know, you can right-click an assignment. So for example, if I right-click an assignment, let's say I click on parking structure 1. Okay. Before, there was just a detach, move all off scene, and the report icon. Now you have an edit button. So I can select edit, and what's going to happen, it's going to pull me into the details for that specific assignment I've selected. So you see in here, parking security structure 1 is the assignment I'm in. I can go in there and I can edit the location if I want to. So I can go in here. You'll see there's a location on here already. I can go in here. I can click the edit button. I can change the location. I can delete this in here if this is not the address I wanted in here. I'm just going to type in an address. Let's say this is the address I want. This will automatically fill in the county and latitude and longitude. So you have an option to put notes in here. This is notes specifically for this assignment. Okay. Now, other things that you'll see on here is category. So this is if you want to put a category for these assignments, you have that option. This is just free text. Feel free to use this for whatever information you want to save in here. And then you also have this option. It says allow tag app users to select. So this is kind of, we're putting this in place for a future release of the Tag app. So in case you didn't know, we are looking at updating the Tag app. We're actually doing a full facelift on the Tag app, and one of the features that's going to be available within the Tag app is to allow the Tag app user to select the assignment in which they're going to be checked into. Okay, so that's controlled by you as the incident manager or the administrator for SalamanderLive to allow those Tag app users to do that. So this is kind of just getting ready for what's coming. Okay, so once you do that, just go ahead and click Save. It's going to save the information in there. There it is. You'll see there's another little map icon, so this kind of gives you a preview of where this is located on a map. So if you're like, oh, I don't like that position and you want to change it, you can X out of here and change that position by editing it again. Okay. You'll see underneath this is option to add resources. So this is kind of like within the Track app. The best way I can say this is like on the Track app where you have the ability to download resources, right, and add them into an assignment within the event. Same concept in this case. If you've worked with plans, you'll know that this process is very similar because it's built off that same format for plans. So in this case, but this is an actual live event versus plans wasn't active yet. So this is a live event. So people that you're adding, equipment collections you're adding on here, it's adding them and checking those people into the event. So that means that time is accruing, cost is accruing for these individuals. You'll see in here if this was a planned event, any resources that already were assigned to this, if they haven't been checked in yet and they were a planned resource, they would be in red. And there's an option for you to check them in. So I'll go to an assignment that actually has planned resources so you can see what that looks like. Okay. So simply to add in people to this assignment, just simply click on Add People, Add Equipment, or Add Collection. Okay. So in this case, you have your option to search for the resource. You can scroll down, find that individual, or you can I say searching is the best way, especially if you have a lot of people to go through. There's no point in scrolling through all the way through your list on here. So let's say I'm looking for Tina. If I type in Tina, there she is, Tina Bradley. I can click on her. Again, you have this selected option on here. So that's going to add the people as you select them to add them here before. So this kind of allows you to confirm, are these the people you're looking at adding to your event before you click Add. Okay. Just note that once you start searching, you have to continue searching. Okay. So do I have a Fred in here? I do, Alex Fredberg. So I'm just adding these people in here so you can see on here. So we've got my 2 people. I'm going to add them in. Click Add. And now they are checked into the event. So if I was to log into my Track app and go to this game day event, I would see that these 2 individuals were checked into the Parking Security Structure 1 assignment. Okay. Oh, and I see some questions that's popping up on here. Let's see. I apologize if I didn't see this. Is Events Pro separate from Plan, or if we have Plan, we automatically have Events Pro? Thank you, Brandon, for answering that. Yes, Events Pro is included with the Plans feature as long as you as the organization subscribes to Plans. So that's correct. Thank you, Brendan. So yes, if you have Plans, you automatically get Events Pro. Okay. Now notate that you do have to select it in the drop down on the security user side. So I'm going to show you that after this. Okay. So you can see where that option is located. All right. So going forward on here, so you'll see in here I've added these people on here. I can add equipment, same process. So this is going to pull down my equipment list. Okay, so I'll give it a second for this to pop up. So there's my equipment list. You'll notice that this will only populate your fixed assets. So the no consumables will be listed in this drop down. Okay, so you can go through your list. You can add in what you need to in this case. You can search for the item. You can again click on it from here. I'm just going to select one just for the heck of it. Okay, I know it does not make sense for this scenario. I'm just going to select it. Same thing. Add it. Now this ambulance has been added to this event. Okay, and you can do the exact same thing for collection as well. So again, it's just uploading in there. I could add my collection. There it is. It's added, and I could add my collection. So collections, this is pulling from your collections database. So as you guys know, if you may not know, we are looking at editing and updating the track app to allow you to download collections. So we're actually in the midst of QA on that to get geared up for that release. So that's coming soon too. So a lot of new exciting things that's coming from our development team. But here, if you created these collections, again, remember, a collection is basically a team, a company, a crew that is going to be checked in and moved as a single resource. Okay. So I've got some of my collections that's created in here. So this is not going to tell you like who's part of this collection in this case. We are working on a quick update to show you exactly who's within. Let's say if I add Engine Strike Team 1 and I add this team on here, you'll see the Engine Strike Team 1 has been added to the event. So give it a second. It's loading. This might be a big team. I can't remember. And this is my training account, so there's a lot of dummy data in here. If you've been on any trainings with me, you know that this is the site that I use for all my trainings. Even though this is a live site, it's kind of my little sandbox to kind of let anybody that's going through training to kind of have a safe environment to make mistakes. So here it is, Engine Strike Team 1 has been added in here. So what we're going to be looking at adding is an option for you to click on it and to view exactly who is a part of those teams. So we're trying to make it where it's like the track app, because right now you can't really see who's in this team. Like, what are the individual members? Are there any equipment that's part of this team? So that's what we're looking at adding. So that's going to be part of our hotfix that's coming in the next couple days here to fix that. Okay, so that's something that we just realized afterwards that we forgot. So as you add your people in here, as they're checked in, so if you're going from assignment to assignment, as you know, within the track app command, even rapid tag, you have the ability to move people. So in here, you also have the capability to move people from assignment to assignment. So if Alex Fredberg, let's say he needs to go to a different assignment, he was in Parking Security 1, but you got a radio that this person needs to go somewhere else, you have the capability to now do that through SalamanderLive. So it's not just restricted to our other tracking solutions anymore. So this kind of helps this does make Salamander into a sort of tracking solution. So in this case, I can click on the checkbox next to the person. You can select multiple. Just know that if you select multiple, they all have to be going to the same assignment. So it's very similar to the track app where if you go into an assignment, you select it, you can select multiple people. It's putting them into the same assignment. Okay. So I can click the move icon, so you can see move on here. What's going to happen is a little drop down list is going to appear. Click on that, and it's going to show you all the active assignments. So all the assignments that's been added to this assignment so far. So you see on scene, off scene, et cetera, et cetera. So this person is, let's say they're going to Black Lot. Okay, I can select Black Lot on here and then click move. Once I click move, the page is going to refresh, and the person will be no longer a part of this assignment, and they'll be placed into their new assignment. Okay. Apologize, my internet connection is a little bit slow, so it's taking a little bit for this to load, so I apologize on that. I have like a million things that's running on here because I'm still working on training documents for this release. So there it is. You'll see that he's been moved. So if I go back to the main chart, so I go back to my event, there's my chart. There he is. As you know, you can click on this individual and the little icon, and it'll pop up a little window right here. It lets you know who that individual is and the full individual report. So that's still all the same. Okay. So that's what I wanted to show you guys. Those are some of the changes that's coming with the full chart functionality. I know a lot of great things with this. I know this has been an ask. So any questions on the chart?
Leah, this is Brendan. I just have a clarification. A lot of great updates, a lot of information to convey. Great job. But point of clarification, I think you mentioned, and I just wanted to clarify that you mentioned that any SalamanderLive subscriber, and you said even if they have the most basic plan, would have access to the roster tile. And
no, the chart. The chart, and yes, the roster tile, but the roster tile is view only for them.
Actually, no, the roster, unless there's a change, the roster tile won't be viewable.
Oh, okay. That might have been a change that I didn't get notification on. Then I apologize. But I will verify. I will verify and double check because on my note it says roster tile is viewable, but there's no functionality that's available on that.
Yeah, if you could clarify, that'd be great.
Yeah, I will definitely clarify that, and I will let you know for sure.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Tom Olson, these functions you address are only available if we have plans. They are with Plans and Event Pro. And Stormy, yes, I will get to your answer that I'll show you guys next. So if you have Events Pro, which is the new offer, as well as Plans, so Plans you automatically get this. Okay, Plans is like you automatically get Events Pro with Plans. Okay, you'll be able to get all these functionalities. Now, to answer, Stormy, your question on the security user side, so even if you have Plans and if you have the Events Pro, you still have to add that to someone's user account. Mahalo, Tom. Hopefully things are doing good in Hawaii there. Let's go here. Let me go to my Trainer 5 one. So right here, you'll see under here, it's called Events Pro. If you remember, this used to say Chart. Now it says Event Pro. So even if they have plans, it's just like plans. Like you still have to select plans. So if they get access to the plans feature, it activates this. And you still have to select Event Pro on here. I know it says Event Pro. We'll be changing that to Events Pro. The Events Pro will then open up those additional functionalities for the chart and the roster tile. Okay, so that's what I'm saying, that you still have to select it from the drop-down under Salamander Live. Of course, if you want them to have access to everything that you have purchased on your account, then you just click this box and it'll check everything that you have. So that's where I was saying that you still have to select. That is correct, and I apologize if I didn't explain that correctly. So Events Pro can be purchased by itself with your Salamander Live feature without plans, which would give you access to what I just showed you guys on the chart side. Or you can just purchase plans, which would automatically give you the Events Pro because that's included with plans. Okay. Any questions? Any additional questions? Thank you, Brendan, for answering that. All right. So if no other questions on that, the last thing I want to talk about is changes to the map tile as well as ArcGIS. So let me just go back here. All right, so, oh, and I apologize. There's one more change. I apologize. One more on the event dashboard. This is available to anybody. So this is anybody that has access to Salamander Live and to the event side. The summary, I just want to make sure I show you guys this. If you guys see this, this is what we did. I know that this has been a ask as well, is to make this more readable and usable information. So on the summary tab, we've added a code field, or code column, I should say, and device user column. So what this does is it tells you exactly who the user is and how they joined, okay? So the code right here corresponds to the type of application or solution they use to join the event or create the event. So in this case, you see here, parent C stands for command. The desktop that they use is this computer, so the computer name is what's going to pop up on here for the device name or username, because since that's a PC-based solution. If they logged in through RapidTag version 5 or Track or Tag, you'll see that it's going to be their username. Or even if they created the event through Salamander Live or through a plan, it's going to be based off their username that they use to log in. Okay. So here's the coding on here to help with the code structure right here. This will be in the user guides. I'm going to request and see if our development team can maybe put like a little info icon right here where you can click on it if you need to figure out what's what. I think most of them are very easy to kind of distinguish what they are, but you get some of these ones that are kind of oddballs. So C command, D dispatch, E rapid tag, evac, so it stands for E because we have R for rapid tag. We can't have two R's. They're trying to keep it to a single a character. F for mobile ICS, so again, for all of our legacy software, they still are going to pop up on here because I know we still have users or accounts that are on the legacy software. G for tag app, if it's a command join, so this is through a pin join, you'll see J to show that that was a pin join for command. L for SalamanderLive, M mobile EMS, P for mobile PIV, we talked about rapid tag ready, T for track, U undefined, so in the case that they couldn't define it, we just have that to kind of house everything that they can't distinguish what it is. X for mobile express. Okay. So again, that's on the home dashboard, or not home dashboard, events dashboard itself. So on here, I'll just show you what that's going to look like. So this is the one that we use for this one right here. I can pull up a different event if you want to on here, but this is basically what this is. So on the event dashboard, just find your summary. My summary is all the way down the bottom, I think. There it is. So it just tells you exactly what it is. If it's a pin join, you should see pin information that's going to populate on here that this is, this event was joined through a pin. So if this was a pin event and this is the parent I'm looking at, you're never going to see the pin information populate on here. That would only appear if you are logged into SalamanderLive as the child event, then you would see the pin information on here. Okay. Okay. Any questions on that? Okay, no questions. Then we're going to move on to our last area, Arcgis and Map Enhancement. So Arcgis, we've had this out for a while, and we do have some customers that are subscribed to this interface. So this is an interface that we have with SalamanderLive and with ERSI Arcgis. So a couple of things that we changed on here is the interface and the subscription to that, where that's set up. So previously we had put that under the account level. So you'd have to go to the account settings to set up your interface. We moved that to the organization level. Why? Because for an account, let's say if there was a state type implementation, you're putting your Arcgis information on the account level. That's what's tied to all your events now. So in this case, all the children organizations underneath you, if they had an ERSI, their own ERSI account, they couldn't put that information anywhere within SalamanderLive to create that connection. But since we moved it to the organization level, you can have multiple organizations that, you know, if they have their own ERSI account, can log in and see their own information within Arcgis. So I'll show you where that's going to be located. We also did some name changes on here. So we changed the people layer and we changed that to resources layer. So the resource layer, people layer, that was the layer that showed all your tag and track app users as they checked or as they join into the event. Okay. So we changed the name for that. And then we also did some bug fixes with that where tag app users before, for some reason, they weren't pinning onto the map. Now they are. And then checked in people were not appearing in the map, and now they are. So checked in people, as you know, for Arcgis, as people are checked into an assignment, they will actually list all the people that's been checked in within that particular assignment. And then, of course, with the new chart changes, we've actually had to update the map so that it now shows the assignment location. So the assignment locations that you enter in and edit on the chart tile will now pin to the map tile. Okay, and we've also made some changes to the actual pin colors themselves. So red is still going to be the same as it was, so that's the event location. Green now is associated to the assignment location. You'll see a darker blue for tag and then a brighter yellow for the track app. So we just did some color changes for that there. Okay. And then if you looked into the deployable map area, you'll see purple is for deployable equipment. So we've kind of associated all the different icons or the coloring in there to kind of make them consistent across the board. So let me pull up Salamander Live here. So let's just look at the map first on the event dashboard. So if I scroll down here, so here's the assignment locations. So you can click on this right here. It doesn't have any track apps or tag apps joined in. I don't think I added an event location on here either. So on here, if I click on this, here's the black lot, there's the latitude, a longitude. If there was an address on here, the address would actually populate in here as well, like this. You see in this, it says 4510 Aaron Drive. So it's not going to show the city, state, and zip code, but it's going to show the actual address and then that latitude, longitude, and then you got the UTM coordinates right there as well. Okay, and you'll notice that each of these pins, and I'll try to find one that actually has track and tag app that's been logged in. But on this case, you'll see it says at the very top there, it tells you what this pin is. So again, it's going to tell you if it's a track app, if it's a tag app, if it's an assignment, or the event location. It'll populate that information there for you. So let me go back into my events. Let me see if I have an older event that has data in there. I've been playing in our staging account, so this account doesn't have a lot of stuff in there. So I apologize on that. Let's click this one here. Do we have anything in here? I probably don't. Yeah, there is. There's an event location there. So moving closer. There's the event location. So there's the address right there. Red event. And then yellow for track. See if my pin will populate. And there's the yellow one. I just joined this event. So here it is. The yellow. There it is. That's the yellow one. Track gap. That's what it tells you right there. Okay. And then phone number if there's one associated to the account. Okay. So that's the changes done to the GIS map in SalamanderLive. I apologize at 2:02. I apologize we're going a little bit over, but I want to make sure I just show you guys the map function in ArcGIS. So any additional questions on the map tile, where these icons, these locations are coming from? So as you edit the chart and you make changes to those addresses, these pins will move. The assignment pins will move based off of the changes you make to the address here. All right, so no questions there. I'm going to move over to ArcGIS. So this is, again, for those that actually have that interface. They're subscribed to that interface. If you have questions about ArcGIS, you want to see a demo, you want more information on this, please contact your local sales rep that can provide you with all that information. Again, this is an additional subscription. So this was what I was talking about, the resources. This used to be people in this case. So in this case, these are all the different pins for assignment. It works very similar to what we had within that map, within our map tile. So right here, this gives you the this individual, which is the person that logged into this event, category code, very similar to those codes that I showed you guys earlier for the summary tile. So T is for track, shows you their information. Okay. So that's what we've changed on here. So as people check into these different assignments, you can you'll see them listed under here. So assign people to show table, see if there's anybody that's checked in. This one doesn't have any resources, but if they had assignments, they would pop up on here as well. So here's all the assignments on here. Again, only the assignments that have a latitude and longitude will pin. This is on both maps. Even if you have an address but no latitude, longitude, it's not going to pin. Okay, so you have to have that latitude and longitude. So even if you didn't want, let's say for intersections, you didn't want to put in, or you don't have an actual address, you want to put just the intersection itself, just put that latitude and longitude in, and it'll pin that. Okay, so that's what I just want to show you guys what's changed on here. But I'm not going to show you the full functionality on ERSI because we would be here for longer than the next couple minutes here. But there's so much more you can do with this. Those that have ERSI or ArcGIS are probably much more proficient than I am in this site. I just know our layers and how to function within our layers in our database, our data set. So But that's everything that I wanted to cover with you guys on the v68 release. Again, all the major enhancements and updates and changes that we did. There's a bunch of other things if you're interested in reading through it. Please feel free to do so. It's going to be available under Salamander University under the Solution Updates. There it is, Salamander Live Release 68. You can go through that document. Now, just some information about the training documents and videos. I apologize. That's my responsibility, but I am completely behind. There was about I want to say 40 videos and a bunch of documents that needed to be updated, and so I am a little behind on that. So there's if you go into any of these video tutorials, none of them have been updated yet. So I'm about done. We should probably get them into the system probably early next week, so that you can go through, if you want to review any of the information I covered today, you can go back through and review them within the associated training videos, as well as user guides in here. Okay, so I apologize on that. I'm just extremely behind with updating those. So any final questions for me on the v68 release? Any questions on the functions? No questions? All right. Well, I will either include today's recording or next week's recording. I will make sure to place that within the web recordings. I usually like to save those. If you want to go back and review today's call, feel free to do so. Again, that won't be up till next week. But I will be putting that under the Salamander Live releases video. So we have the 65 one, 66. So I'll make sure that that one goes in here as well. So you guys can go back and review anything if you need to for next week. Other than that, if there's no questions, I want to thank you guys all so much for being a part of today's call. Appreciate it, and let us know if you guys have any questions as you start working through all the different functionalities. Feel free to reach out to your local sales rep if you have questions, or if you're interested in purchasing either plans or getting onto that Events Pro package. You can also email me at training@SalamanderLive.com if you have questions on any of the training materials. Other than that, thank you guys all so much. Have a wonderful day.